Hello, in this video we're going to talk about the automated follow-up plan included in the IMS 2.0. The automated follow-up plan consists of both emails and text messages that are sent on your behalf to leads that appear to be not contacted after the initial call attempt through the lead router. On the first day, we're going to send out an email on your behalf about 15 minutes after the first call attempt. 20 minutes after the first call attempt, we're going to send out a text to you to basically remind you to try and call the lead again if we determine that it's still in a not contacted status, or that the likelihood you really didn't make contact with them on that first attempt. 30 minutes after the initial call attempt, we'll send out a first text message. You'll be able to view the contents of the emails and the text messages on the desktop version of the IMS 2.0. I'll show you where to find those in just a second. On day 2, at 9:30 a.m. in the morning after the initial call attempt, on day 2, we'll send out a second email. Basically, this email will talk about, including maybe sending them some properties later on in the day. 2 hours later, we'll send a third email, which will include the suggested properties. If you haven't watched the suggested properties video yet, that will make a lot more sense to you after you watch that. But the third email includes some properties for them to look at. And then at 4:30 on day 2, we'll send another text. Once again, the messages included in these emails and texts are all geared toward getting a response from that lead. Although it's not part of this plan, it is worth noting that on day 3 plus, the automated suggest emails continue to go out. The automated gateway emails continue to go out on your behalf. So we're trying to stay in front of this lead as much as possible with relevant information after day 2. The second call attempt notification, you're going to get a notification about 20 minutes after you make your first attempt. Basically, we'll text you a message and email you something along the lines that will read call reminder with a link in it that will open up a page to that specific lead. Obviously, the call button is important. That's what we hope you press on that 20 minutes after the first non-successful attempt. On desktop is the view there, or on mobile. If you're on your mobile device, there's a big call button right there for you to try that lead again. If your initial call attempt lasts less than 2 minutes, the follow-up plan will be enabled. If your call lasts longer than 2 minutes, the follow-up plan gets disabled. When you change the lead status to prospect or client, the follow-up plan gets disabled. If you change the status to bad phone numbers, the text messages to the lead automatically get disabled. You can manually disable most of the follow-up plan or selected individual pieces of the plan. Where you can find what these emails and texts look like is under the lead. It's on the lead action page. Down at the bottom, you'll see a tab called Follow-Up Plan. You click on it, and it'll open up a list of all of the emails and texts, the times that we're getting ready to send those in the future, and you'll be able to either enable or disable pieces of those plans. You'll be able to edit the text involved in those plans. We highly suggest you don't make edits. These have worked for us. We get a ton of responses. Some of the texts or the emails may sound a little different than what you're used to sending, but they do get a lot of replies. So I would leave those alone. I would suggest that you do. There is limited functionality on mobile devices for the automated follow-up plan. You can disable and enable the entire plan from your mobile device. This plan should never be disabled if you have not made contact with the lead. That's important. keep it going. Keep this plan in place. That's what it's there for. You cannot view or edit pieces of the plan on your mobile device. You cannot disable parts of the plan from your mobile device. Basically, when you open up that tab or that button on a mobile device, you'll have one option, to enable it or disable it. And you can just click the button and it enables the entire plan or disables the entire plan. Something important to remember, since we're talking about text messaging, is that mobile phone service providers make it very difficult for us to send text messages to prospects using your actual mobile number. So in order for us to do that, we assign each agent, when you're hired, a secondary phone number used for text messaging. All text sent through our programs on your behalf will be sent from this assigned secondary phone number. The secondary phone number is the number that the lead will see as the text sender, the from. When a prospect replies to one of these texts, your secondary number, we will forward the text directly to your personal mobile number. You don't really have to worry about that. When a prospect replies to one of these texts, we will forward the text directly to your personal mobile number. Here's what you need to remember. When a prospect replies to the secondary number, we receive the text, run it through a program, and then forward it on to your personal mobile number. You will receive the text on your mobile device, and the from number will be our short code 976-63. In that text, there'll be we insert the words reply to with a phone number after it. That phone number is the phone number of the lead. So what you'll need to do is, instead of replying directly when you get that text to 976-63, you need to copy and paste that phone number from the reply to into a new text string and start there. In other words, you'll basically be replying to yourself. So when you see the words reply to, you need to cut and paste that number into a new text string if you want to reply to the text message you just received. We get the question a lot of times, what if the system sends out a text message on my behalf with my secondary phone number? What if the lead calls that number? It works just like call forwarding. They call that number and it gets forwarded directly to your normal mobile phone number. Some last words on the automated follow-up plan. The follow-up plan nor the automated suggest and gateway emails should never take the place of attempting to call the lead multiple times until contact is made. Some agents feel that we make one attempt when that lead comes in through the lead router, and then we let the system do the work. Well, we do let the system do the work as far as texting and emailing, but that's a small part of the job. We need you to make consistent calls. That 20-minute reminder to not, if you haven't contacted them on the first try, we need you to make that call. We need you to make multiple calls over the first few days to that lead. It's drastically important that we make the calls and let the system worry about the texts and emails. That's it for the automated follow-up plan. And if you guys have any questions, please talk to your manager. Thank you.